Here we are getting set for our first countdown of the regular season with Stephen A., Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, I am Greeny. And last night, the Lakers opened up their season with a 14-point loss to Golden State. After the game, LeBron James bemoaning his team's lack of shooting.
I think we're getting great looks, I think, but it also could be teams giving us great looks. I mean, if you be completely honest, we're not a team that's constructed of great shooting. And that's just the truth of the matter is, it's not like, we're sitting here with a lot of lasers on our team. So, but that doesn't deter us from still trying to get great shots. And when we get those opportunities, you take them. But we're not sitting here with a bunch of 40-plus career three-point shooting guys.
I mean, it's a really sort of a telling statement that he's making right there. We don't have lasers. We can't shoot. They were 10 of 40 from three-point range. What do they need to do, Jalen Rose?
Wow, you're not going to change personnel overnight in theory. So the Lakers are who I think they are, a playing team. Ain't no surprises happened last night. Did you see any surprises?
No.
I didn't see any surprises. They made 30 field goals in the paint. That's AD. That's LeBron. That's Russ. They made 10 shots outside of the paint. As LeBron mentioned, they don't have lasers. They don't have knockdown shooting. That's not going to change. But here's the problem. You play on this team, that don't give you confidence. Because one thing about playing with a great player is if I'm playing with Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller and he throw me the ball, I got to make the shot. Because he could have gave it to Reggie.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. It doesn't instill confidence in the other guys.
That's where I was going. It's one thing to be a team that doesn't belong on the same court as a champion. It's another thing to look like you know it.
Correct.
That's what we're talking about with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's why the word that came to my mind was sadness. I watched them last night, and I watched the team step on the court with the reigning defending NBA champions. And everything about them said, we don't belong on this court. We don't have the confidence that we can beat this team. We know we are inferior to them. And basically, you barely put up a fight in the second half because LeBron James and Anthony Davis don't have anybody to throw the ball to that they are confident could hit a shot from 15 feet or beyond with any degree of regularity. That's what we're talking about.
This is what they decided to do as an organization to get LeBron a championship in 2020.
Correct.
That's what they did. And so you see a guy like Brandon Ingram playing somewhere else. All right? I mean, Brandon Ingram is now the second best player at worst on a team that's a threat in the same conference.
I don't view it that way.
What?
Because they didn't give up all of that to get Russell Westbrook. This was before they got Russell Westbrook.
Okay, but they still gave up.
They still had assets.
They gave up, because we talked about this last year. They gave up all of those players. And by the way, I'm not being critical now.
Right.
They won a championship. But basketball, the state of basketball worldwide is not such that you get to pop up to the top every year just because you roll the balls out. There are too many people who can play coming out of high school, internationally.
Before they acquired Russell
League.
Westbrook, though, they still got to the playoffs and lost in the first round, even when Anthony Davis was hurt, because you still had Kuzma and a couple of other assets there.
They don't have enough.
I understand it, but it wasn't this bad.
When you have LeBron James in his 20th season, you shouldn't be capitulating to anyone or anything. Let's get Woj in the conversation. Woj, what can they do?
Greeny, I'm told to expect Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to wait until post-Thanksgiving, 20 games into this season, and see what teams may start pivoting, who don't start off well, who decide that they may start to look to unload players and perhaps get involved in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, to get down in the lottery instead of, as we saw in previous years, teams chasing the play-in tournament, and see then using that 2027, that 2029 pick, and of course, Russell Westbrook's expiring contract to see what is going to be out there in the marketplace. And as more teams and more players become sellers, there were so many buyers the last couple of years. The expectation is there'll be more sellers this year. You start to see the asking price in trades go down. It's supply and demand. So expect the Lakers really to get to that 20-game point where teams kind of reach an inflection point about how they want to proceed, and then see what might really be available to help improve this Lakers team.
All right, Woj, thank you. We'll see you on Countdown at the top of the next hour. In the meantime, is there a move out there, in your opinion, Stephen A., that they could make that would make them a legitimate threat to do something really interesting in this year's postseason?
You know what? Most people would disagree with me about this. I like the possibility of Miles Turner and Buddy Hield
I do too.
in L.A. for Russell Westbrook. I think that Miles Turner being at the 5, Anthony Davis at the 4, a sniper like Buddy Hield in the lineup for LeBron James to kick the ball to, I think that would elevate the Lakers exponentially, at least good enough for them to challenge to get to the second round or, get to a conference.
You know that's what LeBron's subliminally saying in the press conference,
Right.
to do the deal.
Right.
And also you need Miles Turner because AD is going to deal with some games where he misses. So now Miles Turner can play those minutes for him. And Buddy Hield is that knockdown
More
shooter.
than one thing can be true. I agree with you guys. Make the deal. But it doesn't elevate them. J.J. Redick said this to you this morning.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're a serious threat for the postseason.
Agreed.
It means they might get to 6 or 5 or threaten to be in the playoffs and not go through the play-in, Stephen. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that they're now up there looking eye to eye with the other teams.
First of all, I ain't sold on what the heck J.J. Redick had to say. This brother talk about the Brooklyn Nets ain't even a contender. I don't want to listen to J.J. Redick. No.
They're closer to non-contender than they are to NBA champions.
I disagree.
I know you do.
I disagree.
But being at 5 means you play 4, and that's their best chance
It
to
is.
draft.
That
to go
is.
to the
Believe
second
me,
round.
we will talk about the Nets and much more as we count it down to the NBA starting 7 Eastern here on ESPN.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.